The way you begin your morning sets the tone for the rest of your day. In today's world, it's easy to wake up and immediately check our phones, dive into social media, or get caught up in the rush of obligations. But the Stoics, great philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, believed in a more intentional approach. They taught that the first moments of the day should be spent grounding yourself, preparing your mind, and aligning your actions with wisdom and virtue. A Stoic morning routine isn't about mindless habits, it's about cultivating resilience, clarity, and discipline. It's about strengthening your character so that you can handle whatever the day throws at you with grace and composure. Imagine waking up and feeling a deep sense of purpose, moving through your morning with focus instead of stress, and stepping out into the world as your best self. In this video, we'll go through powerful Stoic morning practices that will help you start your day with strength and wisdom. These aren't just philosophical ideas, they're practical habits that you can implement immediately to improve your mindset, productivity, and inner peace. Whether you're new to Stoicism or already familiar with its teachings, this morning routine will help you become more disciplined, focused, and in control of your life. Let's get started. The first thing the Stoics remind us to do upon waking is to acknowledge the simple fact that we are alive. It might sound obvious, but how often do we truly appreciate the opportunity to experience another day? Marcus Aurelius, in Meditations, wrote, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." Instead of immediately reaching for your phone or getting lost in worries about the day ahead, start by taking a moment of gratitude. You don't need to make it complicated, just remind yourself of one or two things that you're grateful for. It could be your health, your family, or even the simple fact that you have another chance to improve yourself. Gratitude shifts your focus away from what's lacking and onto what you already have. This is a key Stoic principle, learning to appreciate what is within our control rather than lamenting what is not. Seneca advised, "Do not ruin what you have by desiring what you have not, remember that what you now have was once among the things you only hoped for." Beyond gratitude, the Stoics also emphasized starting each day with purpose. Before stepping out of bed, take a moment to ask yourself, what kind of person do I want to be today? How do I want to act in the face of challenges? Marcus Aurelius reminded himself each morning that he would inevitably encounter rude, dishonest, and selfish people. Yet, he resolved not to let others dictate his behavior. He chose to act with virtue regardless of external circumstances. This simple morning reflection sets the tone for a Stoic day. Instead of being reactive, letting emotions, distractions, or negativity control you, you become proactive, deciding in advance how you will respond to life's challenges. Here's a practical way to implement this Stoic practice. Wake up mindfully. As soon as you wake up, avoid jumping into social media, emails, or distractions. Express gratitude. Think of at least one thing you're grateful for. Set an intention. Ask yourself, how do I want to show up in the world today? What virtues, like patience, wisdom, courage, or kindness, do I want to practice? Mentally prepare for challenges. Acknowledge that the day might not go perfectly, but remind yourself that you have the power to control your responses. By doing this, you align your mind with Stoic principles from the very first moments of the day. This practice fosters resilience, keeps you focused on what truly matters, and ensures that you approach life with gratitude and purpose rather than stress and anxiety. Now is the time to watch over our minds. Our minds are given to distraction. It is their nature to remain ever on guard, always occupied with something to do. Seneca. One of the most important aspects of a Stoic morning routine is beginning the day with inner stillness and mindfulness. In a world full of distractions and noise, taking time to ground yourself in the present moment is an essential practice. The Stoics valued clarity of mind, which allows you to approach each day with purpose and wisdom. Most people start their mornings in a rush, checking their phones, reading messages, or worrying about the day ahead. But the Stoics remind us that before engaging with the external world, we must first cultivate peace within ourselves. A calm mind is a strong mind. It allows you to think clearly, make wise decisions, and respond to challenges with composure. To practice stillness each morning, start by simply sitting in silence before reaching for your phone or engaging with your tasks. Spend a few moments in quiet reflection, either while sitting in bed, looking out of a window, or sipping your morning tea. This simple habit allows you to observe your thoughts without judgment, training your mind to focus on the present rather than becoming overwhelmed by worries about the day ahead. Another way to cultivate mindfulness is through deep breathing. Taking slow, intentional breaths as you wake up helps center your mind and body, promoting a sense of calm that stays with you throughout the day. Even something as simple as paying attention to your surroundings, the warmth of the sunlight, the sound of birds outside, or the feeling of your feet on the floor, can help you develop greater awareness and appreciation for the present moment. Another powerful practice is engaging in deliberate movement. The Stoics believed that the mind and body are deeply connected, and how you carry yourself affects your mental state. Instead of rushing through your morning, try moving with intention. Whether it's stretching, walking, or performing a simple morning routine with mindfulness, being present in your body helps anchor you in the moment. This physical awareness brings a sense of control and steadiness, allowing you to start your day with balance and focus. Finally, setting a clear intention for the day is a simple yet powerful way to guide your actions. Asking yourself questions like, what do I want to focus on today? What virtue, patience, courage, wisdom, or kindness do I want to embody? Can help you navigate the day with a sense of purpose and self-awareness. By making stillness a part of your morning routine, you train your mind to remain calm and focused throughout the day. Instead of reacting impulsively to situations, you develop the ability to respond with wisdom and clarity. A still mind is also a resilient mind, one that is less affected by external events and better equipped to handle challenges with ease. By cultivating stillness and mindfulness each morning, you set the foundation for a day of clarity, focus, and inner strength. Now, let's move on to the next essential practice in a Stoic morning routine. The chief task in life is simply this: to identify and separate matters so that I can say clearly to myself which are externals not under my control, and which have to do with the choices I actually control. Epictetus. Discipline is at the heart of Stoic philosophy. The ancient Stoics believed that true freedom comes from mastering oneself, and the best way to do that is through small, consistent acts of discipline. In modern life, discipline is often associated with major accomplishments, but for the Stoics, it was something cultivated daily through simple but intentional actions. It was not about forcing oneself into rigid routines, but about developing the habit of doing what is necessary, regardless of emotions or external conditions. A disciplined morning begins with waking up at the same time every day, not giving in to the temptation of an extra 5 minutes of sleep. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that he was not made to lie under the covers but to fulfill his role in life. Similarly, beginning the day with structure, rather than indulgence, signals to the mind that it is in control. The first action of the day, no matter how small, sets the tone for everything that follows. Something as simple as making your bed immediately after rising, without hesitation, reinforces a mindset of order and responsibility. Beyond these initial steps, discipline extends to personal habits and choices. The Stoics emphasized the importance of training the body and mind to resist unnecessary comfort, as excessive indulgence weakens self-control. Choosing a cold shower over a warm one, practicing a moment of silence instead of reaching for a phone, or preparing a simple, healthy breakfast rather than indulging in cravings are all ways to exercise restraint. These actions, though minor, cultivate a sense of mastery over impulses, proving that the mind is stronger than fleeting desires. Self-discipline also involves committing to intentional morning practices without relying on motivation. The Stoics did not believe in waiting for inspiration to act, they acted because it was the right thing to do. Journaling, setting an intention for the day, or reviewing a guiding Stoic principle requires commitment, not fleeting enthusiasm. Doing what is necessary, even when one does not feel like it, builds inner strength. Over time, these small habits become second nature, reinforcing a mindset of control and consistency. More than just structured habits, discipline is about approach and attitude. The Stoics trained themselves to remain calm in discomfort and to act rationally rather than emotionally. By beginning the day with purposeful action, no matter how small, you create a foundation for the rest of the day. If the morning is spent in discipline, the day is less likely to be lost to distraction or impulse. By incorporating small acts of discipline into the morning routine, you prepare yourself to handle the day with greater focus, resilience, and self-mastery. Discipline, when built daily, does not feel like a burden but becomes a source of strength. Now, let's move on to the next essential practice in a Stoic morning routine. People are not disturbed by things, but by the view they take of them. Epictetus. One of the most powerful practices in a Stoic morning routine is journaling. The Stoics saw writing as a tool for self-examination, discipline, and personal growth. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, used his journal not to impress others, but to remind himself of the principles he wanted to live by. His meditations was never meant for publication, it was simply his way of reinforcing Stoic wisdom in his own life. Similarly, Seneca wrote letters filled with philosophical reflections, not just to share ideas but to refine his own thinking. Stoic journaling is not about recording daily events like a diary. Instead, it is a method of clarifying thoughts, reflecting on past lessons, and preparing for the challenges ahead. It is a mental exercise that sharpens perception, strengthens discipline, and builds resilience. By engaging in this practice every morning, you create space for introspection before the distractions of the day take over. The first step in Stoic journaling is reflection on past lessons. Before diving into new tasks, take a moment to look back at the previous day. What went well? What could have been handled better? Did you act in accordance with Stoic virtues like patience, wisdom, and courage? Writing down these reflections allows you to identify patterns in your thinking and behavior. If you lost your temper, were impatient, or let small inconveniences bother you, acknowledging these moments helps you prepare to handle them differently in the future. The next part of Stoic journaling is planning for the day ahead. The Stoics believed in preparing the mind before engaging with the outside world. Marcus Aurelius would remind himself that he would encounter difficult people but that their actions were not within his control, only his response was. Similarly, you can use journaling to anticipate potential challenges and decide how you will respond with wisdom and composure. Writing down an intention for the day, whether it is to practice patience, avoid distractions, or remain calm under pressure, helps anchor your mindset before stepping into the chaos of life. Finally, Stoic journaling serves as a tool for reinforcing philosophy and strengthening the mind. Writing down a short Stoic quote, a piece of wisdom, or a guiding principle helps internalize Stoic teachings. You can choose a lesson from Meditations, a passage from Epictetus, or a reflection on a timeless truth. By revisiting and contemplating these ideas, you train yourself to think like a Stoic, making it easier to apply philosophy in daily life. Engaging in Stoic journaling each morning provides structure, reflection, and mental clarity. It allows you to learn from the past, prepare for the future, and reinforce the Stoic mindset, ensuring that your day begins with wisdom and purpose. Now, let's move on to the next essential practice in a Stoic morning routine. Happiness and freedom begin with a clear understanding of one principle: some things are within our control, and some things are not. Epictetus. A core principle of Stoic philosophy is the dichotomy of control, the idea that there are two categories in life: things we can control and things we cannot. Many people wake up in the morning immediately worrying about outcomes, whether it's how others will react to them, how their work will be received, or whether everything will go according to plan. But the Stoics teach that such thinking is unproductive. The only thing truly within our control is our own thoughts, choices, and actions. The more we detach from external validation and focus solely on what we can control, the more peaceful and effective we become. Starting the morning with this mindset prevents unnecessary stress and emotional turbulence throughout the day. Instead of waking up and checking messages, emails, or social media for approval, begin the day by grounding yourself in what truly matters, your principles, your mindset, and your ability to act with virtue. The Stoics remind us that success should not be measured by outcomes, which are often shaped by external forces, but by how well we uphold our values and conduct ourselves. One way to cultivate this detachment in your morning routine is through mental preparation. Before stepping into the demands of the day, remind yourself that while you may have goals, the outcome is never fully in your hands. If you're working on a project, instead of focusing on whether it will be praised or criticized, focus on the effort you put into it. If you have an important conversation ahead, rather than obsessing over how the other person will respond, commit to speaking with honesty and wisdom. By doing this, you liberate yourself from the anxiety of trying to control what you cannot. Another practice to reinforce this mindset is affirming internal validation over external validation. Many people seek approval from others to feel a sense of worth, but the Stoics remind us that true contentment comes from living in alignment with our principles. Instead of seeking validation from outside sources, ask yourself, did I act with integrity? Did I do my best with what I could control? If the answer is yes, then that is enough. Additionally, engaging in a simple morning reflection can help reinforce detachment. Write down one thing you are working toward and remind yourself that your duty is to the process, not the outcome. If something does not go as planned, view it as a lesson rather than a failure. The goal is not to eliminate ambition, but to free yourself from the suffering that comes from clinging to external results. Detaching from external outcomes does not mean we stop striving for excellence, it means we measure success by our own efforts rather than by how the world responds. By starting the morning with this perspective, we cultivate inner peace and resilience, allowing us to move through the day with clarity and purpose. Now, let's move on to the next essential practice in a Stoic morning routine. It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor. Seneca. The Stoics believed that a life of simplicity and contentment leads to greater peace of mind. They understood that true happiness does not come from indulgence or accumulation but from appreciating what is already present and removing what is unnecessary. In the modern world, mornings are often filled with distractions, checking notifications, overloading the senses with information, or rushing into the day without clarity. A Stoic morning, however, begins with voluntary simplicity, focusing only on what truly matters. This practice is not about deprivation but about intention, choosing to engage only with what adds value to your life while eliminating what creates noise and excess. By simplifying your morning, you create space for clarity, focus, and inner peace, setting the tone for a disciplined and purposeful day. One way to implement voluntary simplicity is by avoiding unnecessary indulgences in the morning. Instead of seeking instant gratification, such as scrolling through social media, consuming excessive entertainment, or overcomplicating morning routines, choose a path of minimalism and presence. Seneca warned against becoming a slave to pleasure, reminding us that indulging in excess weakens the mind rather than strengthens it. Keeping your morning free from distractions allows you to engage with life more fully and intentionally. Simplicity also applies to the physical environment. A cluttered space leads to a cluttered mind. The Stoics valued order and discipline, and their practice of voluntary simplicity extended to their surroundings. Keeping your room and workspace tidy in the morning is not just about organization, it is about creating a sense of calm and control. Removing unnecessary items and simplifying your environment reduces mental friction, helping you focus on what truly matters. Another way to practice voluntary simplicity is through mindful consumption. Instead of rushing into the day with overstimulation, whether it be excessive coffee, rich foods, or loud entertainment, start the morning with simplicity and moderation. Enjoying a quiet moment with a plain cup of tea, eating a simple meal, or engaging in silence rather than noise trains the mind to appreciate less rather than constantly seeking more. The Stoics did not believe in avoiding pleasure entirely but in ensuring that pleasure did not control them. Simplicity is also about mental discipline, avoiding unnecessary worries or overloading the mind with thoughts that do not serve you. Starting the day with mental clarity rather than stressing over what is out of your control allows for a more stoic mindset. One way to do this is by focusing on a single task at a time rather than multitasking, ensuring that your attention is fully present. By practicing voluntary simplicity, you free yourself from unnecessary distractions and cultivate a life of greater clarity and purpose. A simple morning leads to a focused day, and a focused day leads to a life lived with intention. Now, let's move on to the next essential practice in a Stoic morning routine. Very little is needed to make a happy life, it is all within yourself, in your way of thinking. Marcus Aurelius. The way you move, speak, and act throughout your day reflects your mindset. The Stoics believed that deliberate and intentional movement is an essential practice of self-discipline and presence. Instead of rushing through the morning in a distracted state, unaware of actions or surroundings, a Stoic starts the day with deliberate focus, moving with purpose, speaking with clarity, and engaging fully in each task. This creates not only a sense of control but also a deeper appreciation for the present moment. Too often, people wake up and operate on autopilot, mindlessly scrolling on their phones, rushing through routines, or moving quickly from one task to another without awareness. But a Stoic understands that each moment of the day is an opportunity to practice virtue. Whether it's walking, eating, speaking, or working, everything can be done with mindfulness and intention. A simple way to apply this principle is through mindful movement. Instead of rushing through your morning routine, slow down and focus on each action. If you are walking, be aware of your steps, the rhythm of your breath, and the environment around you. If you are drinking your morning tea or coffee, savor it fully rather than distracting yourself with unnecessary thoughts. This not only enhances concentration but also prevents the mind from being consumed by anxieties about the future. Another important aspect of moving with intention is speaking with purpose. The Stoics placed great value on measured speech, advising against speaking too much or too carelessly. Before responding to a message, having a conversation, or making a decision, take a moment to pause and reflect. Are your words necessary? Are they wise? Are they aligned with the virtues you want to embody? Practicing conscious communication in the morning helps set the tone for a day of calm and rational interactions. Stoicism also teaches the importance of doing each task with full presence. If you are working, be fully engaged. If you are spending time with family, be fully present with them rather than thinking about other tasks. Avoid multitasking, as it leads to scattered attention and reduces the quality of both thought and action. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that true fulfillment comes from doing each task as if it were our last, with care and excellence. By moving with intention and presence in the morning, you train yourself to approach the entire day with greater clarity, patience, and control. This practice builds self-mastery, ensuring that your actions align with your values rather than being driven by distractions or impulses. Living with intention is not about grand gestures but about small, conscious decisions throughout the day. When you begin your morning with awareness and purpose, you set the foundation for a day of clarity and discipline. Now, let's reflect on how all these Stoic morning practices come together. The way you start your morning shapes the way you move through life. The Stoics understood that self-mastery is not built in a single moment, but through small, consistent habits that strengthen the mind and body. By incorporating these 7 Stoic morning routines, you are not just creating a structure for your day, you are cultivating a mindset of resilience, wisdom, and purpose. These are not just morning routines, they are lifelong practices that cultivate strength, clarity, and virtue. The question is, which of these will you commit to tomorrow morning? Let us know in the comments, and if you found this video valuable, don't forget to like and subscribe for more Stoic wisdom.